Some really good Otome Isekai. Mostly. I find a lot of them start becoming very samey, but at least they try and do something different. I like the shorter ones. The longer ones tend to outlast their welcome. A lot of modern Japanese novels are written by amateurs and cleaned up for print. Which, like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. There's actually a lot of really good stories that are written by total amateurs. Easy example. Let's see. What's it called? Mother of Learning. Written by, I'm pretty sure, amateur novelist. I don't know if he'd written anything beforehand, but like, absolutely just labor of love, really well-handled story, crafted characters, and most of them actually felt decent. I think it did run into a little bit of an issue because they were... I mean, the whole story is a time loop. And so effectively only a handful of characters actually got proper characterization, and the rest were forgotten conveniently, with an easy excuse of, yeah, but they got deleted by the time loop, so anything that they, like... Any motivations they had are just deleted at the end of a loop. But is what it is. So you read the one where the guy ends up as a mod character in a Otome game. I did. I liked the idea of it, but once again, it's a... let's see. To break that one down, absolute self-insert character whose only merit is the fact that he knows the game beforehand, but isn't actually, like, a decent guy, immediately attracts the two female leads. And, like, it turns into this weird harem situation where he refuses to acknowledge that either of them could even possibly have a crush on him, for any reason. Which, like, okay, whatever. I'll accept that for a little bit of will they, won't they, but it keeps going. And it's more about, like, let's show off how awesome this self-insert main character that I've created, with, like, mild amounts of complexity, as opposed to actually furthering the world or anything like that. Let's see, do I want to try fighting this thing? Last time I fought it, it was a pain in the ass. Yeah, I'm gonna write that one off as pain in the ass until we come back later. Like, I can deal with some amount of anime dom or harem stuff or whatever if the rest of the story is good, but 90% of the time when I'm reading a story that starts including those elements, I start just piecing out. Because... And maybe a lot of this has to do with the fact that I'm a 30-year-old dude. Like, the whole will they, won't they fan service garbage, high school characters, you know,
Windblade.
Character that's... There we go. Character that very clearly is like a stand-in for the author, or stand-in for what the author was like, or wanted to be like when they were 16 or something. To that general extent. Now let's just, woof.
I won't let you down.
Can I get in here? Got a big barrier on it. Nope. Can't go in here. Why? I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna go along it. We'll see if there's an entrance. Maybe there's no way to get in here. Let's see. Oh, giant wind barrier. I bet we have to do the plot to get in there. It's story locked. Yep, no, that's a good point. But because, you know, I'm not going to say I'm a bitter, jaded individual, because I don't think it's bitter or jadedness that makes it impossible for me to enjoy this stuff. I just get creeped out. And I guess from my perspective, I would much prefer a really substantive, well-written romance plot. I guess, gotta kill these guys? Yeah, I figured as much.
No escape.
There we go. And like a particularly wholesome story, then this like awkward, almost fetishistic story where everybody is just a trope of a trope on a trope on a trope, with limited to no character development, or the character development is just, you know, X character walking into the other one. It's like bedroom while they're changing, and it's like, how could you, blah blah blah, and it's like, I just look. Let me tell you, once you get into a
I'll catch up.
solid and proper wholesome relationship, that sort of thing actually never really gets old, but they play it up way too much, and it just feels gross after a while. You read the Duchess's 50 tea recipes. I have. It's decent. It's going on too long. I think that's one of the other things that I run into with a lot of these stories, is that they are written in such a way that they're meant to persist way longer than I think they need to. I think it's just because you write a story, it takes off, you keep writing until people get bored, and then you wrap it up. And that's how it's kind of always been with the genre. And to some degree, I can't blame them, because, you know, that's just how the industry is. It's effectively not too far off of what I do. Effectively, I am just trying to hold on to what I got for as long as I possibly can before I will inevitably have to pivot towards something else, maybe. What is this thing? No idea. Ha! I got it. Hey, thank you, Well Do I, for gifting us up to Sir Batman. Okay, well, if this is plot locked, let's not do it. Gosh, it's getting late. I really wanted to get up to rank 12, but I don't know where we are on that matter. There's the Arcadian runes. Oh, there. Alright, we'll go this direction. But yeah, I did like, and do like, the Duchess's 50 tea recipes. I find that one, as far as isekai go... Is that one even an isekai? Yes, because she took over for the, she took over the soul of the Duchess. And personality shift let her actually, you know, have a decent life. I remember. But Demon Noble Girl. I don't think I've heard of that one. There's a lot I have heard about, and there's a lot I haven't. There's so many. But yeah, I do also get more from the leveling statues. We'll hit up this and then probably go find one. I think I'm over-leveled. Kind of.
Why is this happening to me? I shouldn't have helped him.
Him who?
Thanks so much for saving me. You're far more reliable than those Favonius guys.
It's nothing. He's a traveler. He has to deal with stuff like this all the time.
Traveler? I've heard stories about you. I didn't think I'd be saved by the one I'm here to meet.
Oh, so
I didn't know how I could pay you back initially, but now I think I'll just give you the intel for free. People in our circle know how important the network is.
Thank.
Lucky? But it's lucky for Kaya, isn't it? He's supposed to pay for the intel.
Listen well then. The intel on the Arcadian ruins. 3 6-armed giants reside in the city in the lake. 2 guard the statue, 1 the treasure.
Right. Wait, is that it?
There's also this map that came with it.
Could this be the experts the spot? So the clue is more like a riddle. Well, should be a piece of cake for you, right? Paimon'll leave you to it then.
Sure.
Well, if you can't solve it, we can ask Kaya. He seems like a nerd too.
I'll leave you the intel so you can review it at any time.
Thanks, Vile. 3 6-armed giants reside in the city in the lake. 2 guard the statue, 1 the treasure. What does that mean? If you don't want to ask Kaya, you better figure it out.
Okay. Well, that's something I'll look at later. Let's head to this one real quick. And let's dump stuff off at the statue. I don't think I have enough to level up more than once or twice. Yeah. Maybe twice, tops? Yeah. No, twice. There we go. Well, that was worth a fair bit of adventure EXP at the very least. No, it wasn't. We're still only halfway there. What about achievements? I assume none of these... Oh, hi. Well, there's some stuff there. Oh, you know what? I know what we can do. I'm gonna just claim a bunch of these, because apparently I have them. Okay. Well, seeing as I don't have enough time, what we're gonna do... Yeah, we got plenty. Let's go here. I'm just gonna start doing the ley line outcrops. And that'll be the end of my night. Because yeah, I was hoping I could do a dungeon or two to make use of this better.
Time to clean up.
Why did I press that button? Thank you, volunteers. I definitely played something recently where you press Q to do like a trick, but I forget.
I'll catch up.
Let's see. Yeah, you can shock me, it doesn't matter. I am unstoppable.
I must leave no stone unturned.
Okay, let's go for this guy. He is the biggest inconvenience. Out of this entire mess. Then you! And everybody. Well, it's easy at least. And I think this will give me the adventure EXP that I actually did need. Was that it? Yep. Huh. Okay. Oh, we've got something there, but I'll do this one real quick. There's a lot of things to do. I can't fault this game too much for that. Oh, that was easy. Does your Noel have less HP? Did you give yours various equipment? There we go.
Is the Grand Master still not returned?
Okay. So I saw one or two glowy chests. I guess these two are right next to each other, so we'll just get them done.
I'll catch up.
I will admit, in terms of like isekai and stuff, I am more biased towards reading the manga version of them than the actual like light novel. I tried to read a lot of the light novels, and some of them were pretty dang good. The problem is just like the style of writing, with the exception of a couple of specific light novels, the translation always feels really strange. The structure of Japanese writing is different from American. And so it's actually quite uncomfortable to try and read them for long periods of time. I know it depends on the translator, but for the most part, most translators that I know, or have read, are definitely on the amateur side of things.
No one escapes my... Hey!
Y'all are really annoying. Ugh. There we go. Gives me enough time. But yeah, I bet some more officially translated by, like, prose stories wouldn't be so bad. Let's see. There we go. But I have yet to feel particularly compelled to pick any of those up, because it's maybe a bit more of a risk. I tried one of the ones that I liked, kind of, but they eventually kind of fell to the same trope nonsense. The one. It's... oh, shoot. It's kind of Log Horizon-y, but it's like post-Log Horizon. No. No. I guess it'd be closer to like Dot Hack, where they were all drawn into the death game, except for instead of going back to their original worlds, they were just trapped there, potentially forever. And I don't remember it for the life of me. But it started off really interesting, and then it kind of developed into, hey, here's the main character, he's awesome. Here's the female characters that surround him. Bleh. You know, the more I play this game, the more I realize the stamina meter, it's kind of a fun thing to move towards. It's completely useless, and I wish they didn't have it. Was it Newgate? Yeah, it was Newgate. I'm like, I really like this story, and it's kind of fun. You know, there's this enduring mystery, and you're piecing 100 years of, you know, the main character being absent. You're piecing all of that together in a really interesting manner.
No one escapes my sights.
But it moved very slowly from what I did. I'm aware of the charge attacks. I just don't use them that often because they usually cost stamina.
As a dutiful maid would, I must leave no
But
stone unturned.
as far as isekai goes, that's probably my favorite, or one of my favorites. It's really hard to get past my actual, like, favorite stories, which aren't isekai, that tend to be, like, real top tier. I will always rep Dungeon Meshi. Whenever this conversation comes up, I'm like, Dungeon Meshi, it's super good, and everybody's like, what's a Dungeon Meshi? And it's like, it's the best. Let's see, I've grown to just zone out during the harem parts. Just accept that you're gonna have to suffer through them to enjoy the rest of the story. My problem is it often becomes the rest of the story. What was the... There are two of them. Death March and Arifureta, I think, were the two that I specifically started to hate harems because of these stories. Death March was like almost immediately main characters drawn into potentially his own game, question mark? Which, like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Where does this go? And then eventually it's like, oh, he's extremely overpowered and has, what, 9 girls?
Oh, so sorry.
Leave it all to me.
The overpowered edgelord harem's not the best combo. And, like, it could have just stopped? Okay. Let's see. Let's level up. We might as well just max out most of these characters. Instead of wasting a bunch of time doing piddly amounts of damage. Okay, so he's got this. I'm sure we can switch up to something a bit better. Skyrider Sword, it's okay. Oh, cannot switch during combat. Good to know. Okay, it's under attributes. Here we go. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this one. I just don't do enough damage. And opponents defeated 3. Why does this guy have so much HP? I think I'll just come back to that one later. There's... Yeah, oh, Electro. Electro would have just popped it off. That's the real answer. I just don't have an Electro Ow. Well, it's okay. I'll make it work.
Go, go, Baron Buddy!
Okay.
No stone
There we go. Please give me my HP back. I am just a poor maid that needs to give you a firm drubbing. Okay, there we go. To be fair, in Death March, he's not actually interested in any of them. But the problem is, it's still doing the harem nonsense. Like, even if a character's not interested in the harem, it's still doing it. That's my grump.
Steady as stone.
Let's see. What's a good example? I mean, potentially the same in art. Well, no, I know in Arifureta, he, like, actually does romance all of them, which is just, like, it's weird. And the story becomes more about appeasing the harem characters than actually doing anything particularly plot-focused, which is an issue. Author created Death March to include all of the isekai tropes, so it had to be there. I get that, but it's just like... It became onerous to read after a while. And so even if it was intentional, it had... The story started with a lot of promise in my mind, and then ended... Well, I stopped because it was just... a chore to read.
I'll catch up.
And maybe, I think a lot of this boils down to the fact that waifus are extremely bland and uninteresting characters 90% of the time. I mean, even take this game, for example. A lot of people are going to have, like, their favorite characters, but none of them really have a personality. Even Amber doesn't really have a personality. She's just the kind of ditzy up-and-coming knight trope expressed in a slightly different format from the rest. Let's see. MC of RA Ferretta doesn't romance anyone other than the vamp. I mean, cool, but the rest are still there, clamoring for his attentions. And, like, in all of these stories, how many of them have any male supporting characters that exist? That exist part of the party, that exist in such a way that they aren't just a prop to make the main character look cooler or somehow be a foil. Usually in such a way as somebody for the main character to dunk on. Because it's a really small number.
I must leave no stone unturned.
And from my perspective, that sort of thing is really difficult to deal with, because you spend all this time effectively developing these... I mean, it's effectively literary pinup girls. And, or even quite literal pinup girls within the story. Gosh. Do you want to go watch my, SAO Fatal Bullet videos? I think it's just 1 2-hour video where I'm just, like, losing my mind over how bad that game was. But I just remember specifically, sitting there and just being baffled because it was just this ring of girls. Just this absolute slew of them. And sorry, there were two dude friends. And they were all just praising Kirito instead of actually, like, anything else. And also the main character, who is just a faceless, nameless nobody. Because that's required for the plot of the game, I guess, for whatever reason. And it's just like... it's not interesting anymore. Whenever a story does that within a game. The biggest problem with SAO is each arc needed a heroine in it. So it needed more girls. Gosh, I have the same problem with Doctor Who. Like, make some of the companions not romantic interests. Like, Donna's grandpa was the best companion. And no one will ever be able to convince me otherwise. And he was a companion for maybe, like, 3 episodes. But he was great. There's no romantic tension, just 2 dudes that were, you know, professional friends getting shit done. Donna was the best. I hated Donna. I just thought her grandpa was amazing. And maybe I think a lot of my negativity towards Donna probably is very centered around her introduction. A couple of episodes were just kind of bleh. Let's see, they have a new grandpa. He's pretty good. That's cool. I dropped off, gosh. I dropped off on Doctor Who mid Matt Smith. Mainly because I found Amy Pond and her boyfriend kind of insufferable. And then also Matt Smith doesn't have eyebrows. Which I found to be really hard to get used to. Alright. Do I have anything I can claim? There we go. Perfect. Alright, Mondstadt Shrine Depths Key. Break the seal on the ancient something or other. So that's this one? Well, you can go in here, but I'm 90% certain it's not going to let me get the, chest. I'm gonna try anyway. Temple of the Falcon, please let me go inside. Let's give it a shot. This is just...
Someone needs assistance.
Now, if I'm not mistaken... Should have brought lightning in here. Alright. Oh. Alright, well that wasn't a problem. Did that work? Perfect. Nope, that didn't work. Puzzles. If you can actually switch characters mid-dungeon. Or does it switch it around?
I'll catch up.
Heck if I know. Oops. Missed that bit.
Someone needs assistance.
Anyway.
As a good
Sup, nerd men?
I must leave no stone unturned.
Okay. Yeah, let's just wreck his shield. That's one solution. Who cares about using proper elemental combos here? I've just got hella dangbidge and nothing more. Alright, switch to this. Fire there. Switch to Durbo. Nope. Well, maybe.
Disappear.
I think that functioned. The way I wanted it to. There we go. Please desist your existence. Thank you. Decease. Desist your... Desist and desist. I guess not like we really need to give much of a shit. I was originally like, hey, let's just, let's just cook a bunch of food because we're going to be going into dungeons and that's going to matter, right? And here I am just beasting through with Noelle. Pretty much purely on merit of Noelle. This definitely would be a lot harder without her.
Get ready for the gliding champion of Mondstadt.
Okay. Was that it? Was that the Dungan?
I'll race you there.
Figured as much. There we go. I guess we might as well switch to Noelle for the rest of this. I'm gonna smack you into next Tuesday. I'm noticing my energy gain seems to be better now. I must have picked up a perk that makes it so we get our big hits here. Huh. Maybe... That's a good point. People are bringing up, Spider. I assume we're talking about the, I've been reincarnated as a spider, so what, or whatever that one was called. I think that actually was the first isekai I ever read. That wasn't like Digimon. And so maybe that and Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, Kumo Desiga. Yeah. Nanika? Well, that was the Dungan. That wasn't bad. I might run the Dungan a bunch over and over again. Akuma goes in such a weird direction later on. It does. The beginning of it was great. Oh, did it actually end? I had no idea. So, question. Can I just go back in here? Or is it going to say no? Ah! Can't. So you can only probably do each dungeon once per day, maybe? Well, one way or another, I do not have the ability to go in here. So I guess we're just going to leave that. Okay, so we still got a bunch of things left to do. But I'm up to rank 12. Everything is good. And I am very tired. I'm gonna go eat some toast. This is fun. I will probably play more of this if you guys want to vote on it in subsequent polls. But at the same time, it does feel like we're starting to hit the grind wall in a hard way. And so, like, maybe I'll go for Adventure rank 20 and then kind of stop. Because that's where the reward is. But who knows.